also that's going on over at Sony too, because Sony's been dealing with some conspiracy theory stuff. People are talking about, what's happening with our creators who apparently have been dropping the ball with Spider-Man. So can we talk about what's happening with Spider-Man in Comic Corner? So if you've enjoyed Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, what's up, Richard? Thank you for being on cruise control. Any of the Spider-Verse movies at all, and Philip Lord and Chris Miller were in charge of this, making all those. They've been in charge. Of course, Sony gave them this whole thing to take care of it because they did so well. They did they were supposed to create a bunch of shows for Amazon. So they were in charge of the Amazon Spider-Man universe on TV or streaming, if you will. They signed a 5-year, 9-figure deal with the studio back in 2019 to take over and control what they're going to do with Spider-Man. Silk Spider Society, the very first show was supposed to come forward on Amazon, 2 years development, got canceled, pushed aside. Now Spider-Man Noir, which I'm really excited about. Again, Nick Cage, round of applause for Nick Cage. I love Nick Cage. Friend of the show, friend of the fucking show, Nick Cage. You're supposed to be Spider-Man Noir, this 8-episode series, live action, 50s, 40s, I think it's actually 20s, I don't know. It's a period piece, black and white Spider-Man coming forward. Excited about that. But they're having problems with budget right now. Sony doesn't want to spend the money for this. They're like really mad. And then they've been going back and forth. So we need more money for this. Make it fucking big, huge, and enormous. Make it amazing. Make it stand out. And now because of the budget constraints they're getting and the argument back and forth, it's being said that Sony will not let them move forward with their contract and they're going to get rid of them. And again, Into the Spider-Verse, big for them. Big hits. It spiraled into this. But I will say this. One thing I'll say about this on top of this, this is not the first time Spider-Man Noir, Richard Tracy. It's about Spider-Man, black and white, from the Across Spider-Verse, live action, period piece, detective, solving crimes. This is an old Spider-Man. Nick Cage is playing that part, signed on, moving forward on Amazon. It sounds pretty great. Nick Cage is Spider-Man, old Spider-Man, solving crimes. Pew, 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 kind of. They probably don't work anymore because he's old. Sorry, GR. Youth deprived.
I've ever heard.
Youth deprived. Spider-Man Noir. But I'll say this, again, on top of that, they've been fired before by Disney. They were doing the Harrison Ford. They were doing these. Why am I going blank on? Jordan, help me out, Jordan. Harrison
Indiana
Ford.
Jones?
Not Indiana Jones. No, Star Wars. Why am I going blank? Han Solo movie. They're doing the Han Solo movie, right? And they had Solo, and they shot 90% of the movie, and they made a comedy. Buddy cop comedy about Chewbacca and Solo, and they were joking and shit. They got fired. They brought in a new director, and they changed everything, and they fixed it. And so they got fired before. This is not the first time. Ron Howard, not the first time they've been fired. Is this a pattern from them? They did some great shit, but I worry about this. I'm like, they do some good stuff, bad stuff, but it's just who they are. Do they cause more problems? Is this problematic for it? And this is a bad sign moving forward for Sony, even more so because Madam Web bombed. You've had Morbius bomb. Probably Craven's gonna bomb. It's just Sony cursed? Is Sony cursed? Just will they never be able to figure this shit out, Allie? Is there any world in this world where Sony does good stuff? Did you like Ain't They Done? Did you like the Cross the Universe? Is this a bad idea moving forward to far the people that actually brought some success to your franchise?
I don't think I'm the target audience for that particular franchise anyway. But they did a lot of successful things. But you know what? Sometimes drama ends up outweighing, right? Sometimes people can be a certain amount of trouble, and they're just bringing us so much money that it doesn't even matter. And other times you go, you know what? We can still do all right. Cut them loose. Yeah.
It happens all the time in this business, doesn't it? There's sometimes it doesn't work out, right? And you might have a great deal, a first look deal, a great deal where oh, it's gonna be amazing. I have all this stuff, but this is just par for the course of the business works, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you can get dropped at any time. You can get replaced at any time. You can shoot an entire movie, and they can go back and say, I think we're gonna reshoot that with someone else.
Yeah, you've seen it probably acting too all the time. It happens, right?
Yeah. just from various parts you can get cut. Hell, people when you're doing the art design and things on these projects, the people I know who are art guild people, they'll work on them, and if they get dropped before it's finished, they don't get credited at all. It doesn't matter how many hours they put in to the whole thing. You know, the person who replaces them gets all the credit.
Yeah, and like that's happening. There's another movie. What was it? There's something else I just saw that something got dropped off of. I think it was Captain America. They had the director, and they did reshoots and all that stuff. They just dropped his name from it completely, and it's like that's crazy. But that happens, and because there's something that happens in between or behind the scenes. They're like, we can't have this person attached to this movie anymore. Or maybe they have a battle happens where they fight and they have some issue with the producers, and they're like, we can't have this person attached to the movie. Yeah, we just had the X-Men 97 too. It doesn't shock me at all when I hear this.
And some of those positions you really end up losing, I think, because they're going to get so much of the credit, you know, however things go. Like, you know, if the show tanks, then like it's all bad for everybody. If it goes well and it was despite them, then you say, screw these guys, because you know what? They're going to get credit for anything that went right.
Yep.
So if they're not playing ball, if they're not doing their job the way they were supposed to, for whatever reason, then cut their name.
And then they've done it in the past before. They didn't play ball with Sony before, or with Disney. They didn't play ball with Disney, which again, you have Solo and you're taking that franchise forward. Like nobody wants to recast Harrison Ford as it is. Then you're making Harrison Ford like Dumb and Dumber. They call that's what it was, like Dumb and Dumber in space. It's Harrison Ford's Dumb and Dumber or Han Solo, and it's like they got fired before by going too far. It just seems like these guys they've done some great stuff, but it seems like this is like writing on the wall that would happen again. To me, if you ask me, right? Seems like it. Ron, have you seen that happen before in your time in the business? Have you seen people been like coming in and leaving like that, where it's like they're the showrunners, they're the people that have been successful for a company, and then all of a sudden they're gone? Have you seen that happen before? And is that like a trend that does happen in Hollywood once in a while?
I think Hollywood is so fickle, and you do one thing and you can get kicked out in the middle of something. And I've seen it a million times with actors. Even on Melissa and Joey, we had Lennox's role was recast after the first episode.
That's right. I forgot about that.
You know, it's sad because the show gets picked up and you're like, oh my God, I got a show for 12 episodes, and you're done after one.
Mm-hmm. Like, that's it. Sorry, you thought you had a job for, which we talked about. Like, we talked about the other day too. We talked about like how people have like jobs they think they're going to last for a long time. It was the Walking Phoenix thing last week. You know, we talked about how like you think you have a job that's going to last for 3 to 5 months, and all of a sudden that's just gone. That's Hollywood in general, isn't it?
Yep. Oh, absolutely. There's no there's no compassion there. But these guys. I've seen executives replaced in the middle of seasons also, and that's never a good sign, because it means studios are looking for something else in the middle of something. You can't repair that.
It means that this show is probably going to be canceled or messed up, or it's going to be done.
Just like any TV shows, when they start adding like sitcoms, when they start adding more sets and more guest stars, it's done.
Oh, that's the thing. Guests are
sometimes when they change the executives that way, it means somebody slept with somebody they shouldn't have, though.
Then there's that. Yes.
There's also that. Yeah. Who's this person? How'd this happen? Don't worry about it.
Is that why we're saying you suck?
Let's just not worry about that. Let's just not worry about that at all. It's fine. It's fine. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
You know? That's the business. People think that it's just like so classy and normal, and there's real people working on set all the time. There's real people. We're all real people. We have, we make mistakes. Mm-hmm. We try to cover up for things again. And what are you pointing at, GR? I don't make mistakes. I do make mistakes.
Real people, Ron and Allie and you.
Yeah, we're all real people. We're all real people. You know, we're real people, and we do jobs. That's what happens. You know, but that real people work in the business. People don't understand that. It's like this whole like game of like, oh, it's so magical and it's like untouchable, and the movie stars used to be like that. But we are all real people that are doing a job that we cared about when we were kids, or or came through a lineage of a family, and we want to make a good project and make money. And that's what it comes down to.
What's funny is people still see it as that magical little formula. Which I think there's something enchanting about that, but it's so not the case.
I love that though, Ron. I wish that
Yeah,
it's why we got involved with this whole business, because it is kind of like that. Now, of course, you also, Ron, came from like your father was involved in the business too, right?
yes. So yeah, I was raised on a studio set, basically.
So you understand, like I can't even imagine. I would love that. I wish I were you. I wish I were. I wish my parents actually wanted to move to California and work in this business.
Yeah.
They're teachers. They're great teachers. But it's like I just wish that. I just wish I had that, that leg up, that opportunity to be here, just be immersed in it as a kid. I always loved it.
I grew up on the set of like Bonanza, Halloween when he did movies, the Michael J. Fox thing, Back to the Future, all of these things. Yeah, I was there for all of them.
You were in the set of Back to the Future?
Absolutely.
I don't know. I'm like, Bonanza, you say. Interesting.
Bonanza.
Very interesting. That's a big one.
Before you were born.
But I have seen them all. But I have seen the whole of Bonanza. I usually skip the last couple seasons, but
Fantastic.
Remember watching it on Sunday night.
Oh yeah, so it was on Sundays. Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I remember doing a show. I was doing a pilot several years ago at Warner Brothers, and I was thinking, oh my God, this is where they did Bonanza. And I remembered as a kid going down the center road and then turning right, and the second thing would be the stage. And I'm like, that can't be. I was like 4, And sure enough, I did it, and they had the plaques on the wall. And it said Bonanza, and that's where I would go visit my dad.
Wow, there's something like
it's really cool. That's really
ingrained in you that just knows it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so cool.
That was neat.
That's welcome to Cruise Control, everybody. Welcome to Cruise Control. But yeah, it's amazing, Ron. I really appreciate you being here, because you do have so many stories and stuff that are like in your heart and your soul that you've been involved that a lot of people don't understand. It's like you've been so integrated with the business, and you do other things, but it's still amazing that you have those experiences. A lot of people don't experience that at all.
Yeah, I know. And it's just, but what's funny, it's just, that's my life. It just, these things happen. It's just like, oh, well, that's, there's nothing special about it to me.
Yeah. There's no Bonanza, Angel. I'm sorry. Bonanza's not been back anytime soon. Is it? Or
someone did do a continuation series. It didn't last very long.
The Next Generation.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's even one I missed, but they did like the young Cartwrights. And it was very full of drama and stuff. But yeah, I think it lasted one or two seasons.
It was soapy. Yeah.
It was
like
very
some Yellowstone stuff, huh? Like they're trying to.
I mean, which the later part of Bonanza got very soapy, but I liked the fun when you still had most of the brothers before two of them passed.
Yeah.
Little Joe started directing. It got real soapy.
Yes.
And he continued that on in other series.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just build off that. Let's go back to the Spider-Man thing fast. I know Jordan's got something to say about this. Jordan, do you think this is the end for the Spider-Verse? Is it going to cause problems to mess up Sony's whole plan moving forward, getting rid of these guys? Or maybe they're making a good choice that will salvage what they've been moving forward with the Spider-Man universe?
Well, what I'm worried about is the Spider-Verse. The last movie ended on a cliffhanger, and if they're not willing to work with these guys, Sony is all about making money. Look at all their Spider-Man spinoffs. They don't give a shit if the movie's decent, so they're gonna find somebody to write this third movie.
100%.
To film this third movie,
but this movie's supposed to be. I think the script might be done already, though. Like the script's got to be done, don't you think?
I don't know. I mean, they could make a deal to part ways where they're only like, honest
writers, maybe. Yeah.
But I mean, from what I heard, it was pretty heated meetings because they wanted to go over budget.
You need big money for this shit.
They weren't backing down, and Sony's like, "We're not paying that."
I mean, you got Nick Cage already attached to Spider-Man War, and you got like black and white period piece as it is. Any period piece is always going to cost more money.
But how much money? But so you got to look at. I hate to be that guy, but look at it from a cost perspective. They're putting it on Amazon.
Yeah,
it's not a theater thing. It's an Amazon. I mean, it's not like it's their own streaming service. I I don't know. And then, like you said, these guys have already been kicked off from Disney. I don't know. Maybe they're just hotheads.
They might be hotheads. I mean, they were, but they're also like their ideas might be too extreme for the brands they're getting. You know, like Han Solo is a brand. It's a brand. You know, Spider-Man's a brand. It's a big brand, and you know, and you could come in and have great ideas, but at the end of the day, like the companies, the businesses that own those brands are going to be like, we have to make it a certain way.
Yep.
We just have to. And you know, maybe you have great ideas, but like that's not what this is. You know, it's not what it is. And people are always in a fight with it, and they want to make money, and at the end of the day, like they've lost a lot of money on this shit as it is. So I don't know. GR, do you see anything here that you think that Sony's messed up? They're never gonna figure it out. GR, it's a Dillagaff situation for you. How do you feel about this?
Well, if you look at it, as a time base, Batman came around in the late 40s, early 50s?
Yeah.
Which means he was born based on the character, the late 20s, early 30s at the earliest. So they gives you a picture of the time frame it can be in. And so you got to shoot black and white for 20 years of the story. I don't think it's ever going to work. I think they were shooting for too much. And it didn't work. And then Sony didn't want to pay for it. Can't blame them.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. I really want to see this, GR. I want to see Nick Cage, black and white, Spider-Man.
I don't think it's happening.
Pew, 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 pew. I want to see this
Maybe
shit.
Nick Cage could do the Spider-Gwen.
Yes. I'll be the Spider-Gwen.
Sony said Brian wants this Dillagaff.
No, they said, we'll talk later. We'll talk later.
I don't think
I'll take over head of creative. I'll cut the budget. I'll make it work.
But they didn't say that.
Kruse Control will cut the budget. We'll make it work.
Budget is probably Nick Cage. Because you pay him in dinosaur bones. You pay him in dinosaur bones. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
I just think skin.
And take a face off. Face off, you know? That's what we do. We pay him in that. We can take care of Nick Cage.
Casper Troy.
Yeah. But I will say this. I think that at the end of the day, they've had problems with, again, Phil Lord, the group here, they've had problems before. I think these guys are strong-headed. I think this does deserve money. I think Sony is worried because they've lost so much money in their other investments. They don't want to invest money in something that could be good because they're afraid they're going to lose their asses again. And they've lost their asses so many times. Again, they put so much money in Madam Web, and that was a disaster. They put so much money. Madam, yeah, I know. Craven's coming out. That's going to be a disaster too. You know,
Morbid time. It's morbid time.
Yep. When you don't get the response you expect multiple times in a row, you get a little gun shy. That's what it comes down to. Money talks.
Now you just re-release it in theaters like they did Morbius because they thought it was.
Yeah. And they're gonna walk. That's all I'm saying. And I think that this is gonna be a problem moving forward, but I hope it doesn't kill this Nick Cage noir movie because I want to see it so bad.
Yo, player, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when we are live. And if you are able to join our Patreon, please join. Because the pep star needs more snickety snacks. Because I'm hungry. Holla back. Love y'all.